Okay, good afternoon, Bernard. 1 2 1 2 1 2. Good afternoon. We are at Adventure Park in Parkville, round 17 of the competition. Craig, let's hear you on mic as well.
1 2 1 2 testing. 1 2 3.
Are they both sounding about the same level? They should, in theory, because they're the same mic.
Well,
on the same
hopefully it works, and it's not. If it is, mate, we'll just have to swap it over quickly. All right? Have you got the?
That should be all right. All right, thanks, Bernard. We'll be back to kick off proceedings in about 15 minutes. fixtures last Saturday to the Melbourne Knights and Port Melbourne respectively, and it's an injury hit Avondale that welcome an in-form Moreland City, who've picked up 7 points in their last 4 outings after not picking up a point in their first 12 matches of the season. Avondale should go in favourite still, but this promises to be an entertaining contest between two sides from Melbourne's north that have got plenty to offer still in season 2024. My name is Steve Curtin, and looking forward to bringing you all the action this afternoon. And it's a great pleasure to have Craig Filer along my side to bring you his insight into this match. Good afternoon, Craig.
Good afternoon, Steve. Good afternoon, listeners. On a dry but chilly afternoon here at Avenger Park in what promises to be another great game. As you said there, Steve, Moreland on a bit of an up, 7 points out of the last 4 games. Avondale just falling asleep towards the end of last week's game and got a point against Melbourne Knights, but really looking forward to this one, mate.
Yeah, such was the surprise when Kieran Bramwell scored that injury time goal for a 10-man Melbourne Knights that Avondale weren't able to go on and take the 3 points on their home turf here. Let's look at those starting lineups because the teams are in, and there's no change to that Avondale side that drew 1-1 with the Knights last week. So we see Tom Manos continuing in goal, Adam Al-Hayek at right back, Blake Carpenter at left back, the central defenders, the captain Aidan Bryce and Kalilu Kamara. The midfield three, Sian Cuba has recovered for an injury cloud that he was in during the week to make the starting 11. Also in the central midfield three, George Mells and Yite Towns, who becomes the Avondale games record holder today in this fixture with 169 appearances. The front three in the middle is George Ott. On the flanks is Liston Diaz, and Seb Vargas has been named as the right winger, but looks like he will actually start at right back, so it might be Adam Al-Hayek who will start as the right winger. And it's going to be Moreland City getting us underway in their white change strips. There's one change for Moreland with Santo Agwek coming into goal for Alex Condolian, who misses out on the action today. It's a strong header by central defender Michael Soutsides, who's alongside him sees the captain Corey Thomas. His knockdown was picked up by Liston Diaz there. So Thomas and Soutsides, the central defensive duo, and they are flanked by Luke Jurcic at right back, a player who has been sent off on 2 occasions this season. Aligan Kifley's the left back. In central midfield, it's Dean Waters and Diego Cuba. 2 Cubas out there, 1 for either side today. Looking forward to seeing how they match up against each other this afternoon. 2 players that will certainly know each other's games. On the flanks for Dave Ostojić's side, the goal scorer of last week, Marco Canatelli, the youngster who got on the score sheet in the opening couple of minutes against Port Melbourne. On the other flank, Fletcher Fulton, and 2 up top for Moreland City, Jose Sands and Apia Akuno, who form a dynamic duo up there. Bit of an old school look to the way that Moreland City have lined up, Craig, with 2 up top. You don't see that so often, a 4-4-2 or perhaps a 4-2-2-2.
Yeah, no, it's definitely a 4-4-2. I think the coaching staff have obviously highlighted they're gonna get after Avondale. Interested to see Corey Thomas, the influential captain of Moreland City, playing as a centre back. Speaking of the coaching staff, just before the game, he came in a few weeks ago and did a job, and they've kept him in there. So ever Mr. Reliable is Corey Thomas in at centre back. But definitely a 4-4-2.
Yeah, nice and versatile, and it does give Dave Ostojić's side a chance to have that vocal presence in central defence, the leader of this team, both on paper and spiritually as well, I suppose, and also his good range of passing that he has out of central defence. Here's Kamara bringing the ball forward now, looking for George Ott, and this is Al Hayek, who is lining up as the right winger today, so he'll relish the opportunity to play further forward. Jurcic getting in to block that one away, and the rebound fell kindly for Avondale, but Agwek, who was diving, didn't need to make a touch on the ball to turn that one behind as it was going wide. Good judgment of the parameters of the goal for Santo Agwek, who got the call up today. We originally were thinking Alex Condolian was to be continuing, but ruled out late in the piece, and a chance for Santo Agwek, and that means that there's a spot on the bench today for Avondale's just the 3rd choice keeper, Alex Golikides. Also on the bench today for Avondale, Curtis Miley, Kerr Arob, Matt Spall, Luca Toro and Aidan Croucher, while for Zoki Markowski's Avengers on the bench, Ethan Pisani, Jacob Chinema Alessio Centaro, Lucas Hogan, and the sub-keeper is Mayan. Just 5 on the bench for Avondale today. We were commenting beforehand, Craig. It's not often that you see a club with the depth of Avondale only playing with 5 on the bench rather than 6.
Yeah, they are down to... just hold it off there, Steve, as a free kick comes Moreland City's way.
Marco Canatelli, who had that bright opening last week to grab his first senior goal in NPL Victoria, winning the foul. He's been in the matchday squad 6 times, but getting the start and getting the goal last week. And this ball is swung in by Cuba. It's just about dealt with by that Avondale defence. Foot races on it here. Al Hayek giving chase, but it was Kiflay that got there first. Aligan Kiflay wearing the number 3 jersey this afternoon, playing at left back.
Yeah, just going back to the Avondale situation, they are threadbare at the moment, to say the least. 8 of their first choice players either out injured or away on international duty. So it's, as you said, they are down to the bare bones, giving a few opportunities to see youngsters coming through from the 23s, which is always good to see, but probably not what Avondale want to see at this stage of the season.
Well, there was some good signs. We saw Kerr and also Christian Trojewski getting some practice in on the pitch beforehand, some match conditioning, and it's Liston Diaz as the ball breaks for him to the left-hand side, but he'd not timed his run correctly according to the assistant referee over there on the far side. We've got Terry Constandelis overseeing this one in the middle with John White and Vlatko Trojewski as the assistant referees. And this is a very enterprising run by Canatelli getting into the box. Fulton, can he get around Mells? Fletcher Fulton, it's blocked by Vargas. Stood his ground well to block the shot from his opposing number 6, but he's not giving up hope here, Fulton. Oh, he was clattered by... It was the challenge coming out from Kalalu Kamara, and Avondale trying to come forward through George Ott, who wins the free kick in the centre circle, with Avondale attacking the southern or city end of Adventure Park.
Yeah, good break from the youngster Canatelli there. Certainly looking to get at Carpenter in these early stages. Drew a foul just a few moments earlier and got the ball at his feet and started to run. So promising signs on this near side for Moreland City.
Well, both players very similar in stature, and looking forward to seeing the battle between those two this afternoon. And Blake Carpenter is a player who certainly plays with a lot of confidence when he's out there for Avondale, but it's good to see another young player like Canatelli coming on there and not being overawed by the occasion. And that goal last week will certainly give him plenty of confidence, as the Moreland City side, they probably had more of the territorial advantage in the opening couple of minutes here.
Yeah, and that'll do them good. That'll give them some confidence. It's always nice to get on the ball early stages, especially against a team like Avondale on their home venue.
Here's Liston Diaz, who is onside this time, and it's a well-timed challenge by Luke Jurcic. Sliding in to dirty the white shorts, but he couldn't have timed that challenge any better to dispossess the dangerous and pacey Liston Diaz, who supplied the assist last week to set up his teammate Sian Cuba for that goal in the first minute of the second half against the Knights. Off the shoulder by Fulton. He's got Vargas to beat. Vargas holding his ground well again and winning the ball back here is Seb Vargas, and Fulton stuck a boot in there and commits the foul. So a chance for the Avengers to set things up for the set piece opportunity.
Yeah, and they will look to play Avondale. They're not the type of team that's going to get the ball and throw it in the box. They're going to look to drag their opposition around. Starting with this man, Aidan Bryce.
Plenty of time for Bryce to pick his pass here, and he picks out Yite Towns. As we said, he's been given the captain's armband today, breaking the club games record with 169 appearances, surpassing that of Marin Jancic, who collected 168 himself. He arrived as a 19-year-old at the club, Yite Towns. Enjoys playing here, loves the culture, and so he did mention that it's nice and close to home for him too. That always helps.
Always helps, but it's a fantastic record, 160 games at the top level. one club.
Over on the far side is Kiflay challenges for the ball against Towns. Kiflay comes away with it. Skips past one challenge. This is Canatelli getting at Carpenter. Inside is Akuno. Just about trot on the ball, but gets it back out of his feet again. Canatelli tried to thread the pass. It was well cut out by Sian Cuba, one of the real informed players of this season 2024 in NPL Victoria. Nice bounce pass by the captain, Aidan Bryce, and Carpenter. Good to see Blake Carpenter back out there. He missed a few games this year, normally an ever present for Avondale, and always a goal threat from left back too. Bit of a cliche, but certainly a cultured left foot that he has, and plenty of pace too to boot.
Yeah, Avondale now just trying to get on the ball, get some touches. It's been all Moreland City in the opening stanza of this half, but they're starting to get into this stride now, Avondale.
Here's Kamara striding over the halfway line and trying to pick his pass. He's always looking to play the ball into the feet of George Odd, it seems, Kalaloo Kamara. Those two with a good understanding, but again it's Canatelli with the space to run at Carpenter. Carpenter required to keep his concentration up here as the ball's clipped in towards Akuno and easily runs through to Tom Manos, who gets his first touch, the ball in the palms for the afternoon, and distributes to Mells. George Mells is an interesting one. I had to bide his time on the bench for much of the season, but such is the injury crisis, particularly in central midfield, that we see Mells getting a regular run of starts in the team at the moment. So the deep squad coming in handy for Zoki Markowski at this point of time in the year when the games do come thick and fast. Of course, Avondale are still in action in the Australia Cup / Doherty Cup competition, and they'll be playing against the Oakley Cannons. That should be an Oakley Cannons home game, but playing out of the home of the Matildas on Tuesday the 18th of June as Avondale attacking down this near side, and the ball just bounced and span awkwardly for Agwork, who was coming out to claim ahead of Diaz, and Jurcic is back to mop up. It might have been a handball by Akuno, but not seen by the referee, so play's allowed to continue, and Avondale get the ball back in their possession. Now, Craig, you had a chat to Moreland City coach Dave Stoich before the game, and one of the things we've probably observed is teams that are willing to get at Avondale and not just sit back there and admire them are the teams that can get good results against Avondale. Is that something that we think we might see from Moreland, and maybe we're seeing so far?
Yeah, look, I think so. I think in the games that I've seen Avondale this year, the teams that, as you said, do get at them, started with the opening game here, and they were comfortably winning 3-0, I think, and last minute goal. But yeah, a few teams have gone at them, not be scared of them, take the game to them, and I think looking at this, you know, Moreland are a hard-working team, so they're going to give everything they can. They've got a really good culture within the group, and they just work really hard. So yeah, I can see them. They're having a go. Obviously, the part that they need to just make sure that they don't switch off is their transition, because you know, when they do get the ball in the middle third, they do break really quickly, and the attack inside. And I'll just hold off there, Steve.
Well, here's Diaz, the 1-2 with Al Hayek. It looks like it might be overhit Al Hayek giving chase, but it does cross the byline out near the big digital scoreboard over toward the Tullamarine Freeway side of the venue here. The pitch is in great condition. You were out there having a kick before the game, Craig. It looked like it was in good nick when you were out there too.
It is, but it's a bit bobbly, and the sprinklers were on before the game. There's a few bare patches. It is, but it is it's still in good nick for this time of the year. There will be no excuses for anybody not to be able to play football.
So 0-0 here after 12 minutes. Neither side with a really good look at goal in the opening exchanges here in this all Northern Suburbs derby, coming to you on the NPL Victoria live stream. Steve Curtin and Craig Filer enjoying this one and happy to bring it to you in the comfort of your own home. Bernard behind the camera giving you the best look at the action here from Parkville this afternoon. Avondale in possession all the way back to Tom Manos, and up here Kuno giving chase. Here's Kamara. Carpenter, the two South Aussies combining, and Carpenter strides around Canatelli. That'll certainly give his confidence a possession. The New Zealander gets into the box, and he deep the cross. Running it, Kifley tries to go the long way around. There's tactic, and Kifley come away with the ball and succeeds.
Showed a little bit of something that
sense of the terminology. Terry Constandelos, our referee, is just telling the players to simmer things down a bit here as Avondale have won the free kick, and here's Yitzhak Towns. There's no options out wide. Everyone's funneled themselves into that central corridor of the pitch, so Avondale forced to go back and build up again. Here's Mells. Al Hayek now. Kamara to switch the play out wide. Carpenter. He has Diaz available, and he decides to that renowned header of the ball, Michael Soutsides. George Mallows, who looks like he's been to visit the barber this week. Certainly very short at the back. No party at the back. Very short at the back for George Mallows as he gets the ball again from Al Hayek. Plenty of exchange of position from these Avengers players as they try and break down this stubborn Moreland defence. This is Diaz. Board Towns picks up the loose ball. Yitzhak Towns, he'd love a goal in his milestone game today. Yitzhak Towns doesn't have a goal yet this season, just a couple of assists. Al Hayek, Cuba, Sian Cuba, and it's the save by Agwek, who made it into a regulation save in the end, but promising moment for the Avengers, able to break through and fire a meaningful shot on goal for the first time this afternoon.
Yeah, it looks like they're playing very narrow when the Avengers do get the ball.
Here's Jose Sands. There's the pocket of Kamara, but Kamara to win the ball back after the initial error was impressive.
He's a strong lad, isn't he?
He's been a key player in some games earlier in the season.
Moreland City, sorry. Looks like Cuba's going to get over and take this opportunity for Tsusis to pop up, hit that box, and they do have some big players in that box. Moreland City.
Well, we've seen Sian Cuba take the corners at the other end. It's a chance for brother Diego here as the two Queenslanders making an impression in Melbourne this afternoon. It's in by Cuba, away by George Ott, only as far as Thomas, who was looking for Fulton, but was picked up by Yite Towns. Towns goes to ground and wins the free kick. Here's George Ott. Carpenter now. Playing the ball back was Waters. Sorry. Here's Sutsides. Corey Thomas now with plenty of time to pick his pass here. Everyone behind the ball for Avondale. Mel's forward to apply the pressure. Waters all the way back to Agwek, who smacks it up and over the halfway line. Kamara was in strongly, won the header, but impeded his opponent in Diego Cuba, who certainly felt that one. Strong challenge by Kalaloo Kamara. Diego Cuba now. Canatelli. Carpenter out to close him down. Jurcic on the overlap though. Gets a decent looking ball in. Sands at the back post. Headers won by Kamara. Looks to pick up the second ball himself. Does Kalaloo Kamara. Here's Fulton. Kamara winning the ball back again, who's been a standout so far for Avondale in the heart of the defence. Wins the throw as well, so good bit of play from the South Aussie central defender, who's really made an impression since coming across from the Metro Stars in South Australia a couple of years ago.
But good pressure from Moreland as well, Steve, in that corner, not allowing Avondale to get out. Good pressure from Fulton. They want Avondale to play the ball long. That's what they're looking for. They're looking to play it long so they can pick the ball up exactly as Tsusis has done there.
Free kick going the way of the host, the Avengers here. So 23.5 minutes on the clock, and neither side able to trouble the scoreboard attendant yet. Neither goalkeeper's really been troubled, to be fair, either at this point in time, midway through the first half. No,
it's been very much a mid-pitch game so far, hasn't it? Not a lot happening in either box.
Aidan Bryce trying to direct the traffic here. George Ott dropping deep to pick up the ball, and this is a good move by Avondale to try and find a way through the wall of white shirts that's behind the ball.
Yeah, and that's exactly what it is, Steve. They just dropped into that block.
Not much space between the lines for Avondale to pick those passes. Here's Mel's, looking like he wants to be the architect again. First time pass was by Towns. Plenty of possession here for the Avengers as Bryce looks to switch the play out wide to Seb Vargas. And they do advance across the halfway line. Al Hayek now. Towns got a boot in. Appeals for a free kick, but nothing doing there from referee Terry Constandelos. And Sutsides has got himself in a bit of a tight spot here with Liston Diaz pressuring him, but he got out of that situation nice and easy in the end.
Yeah, well played from the big man at the back.
One of the informed central defenders. We've been talking about Kalaloo Kamara, but Sutsides is in a fantastic vein of form at the moment in central defence.
Yeah, the challenge for him, as I've spoken to David Stojic, on a number of occasions, is keeping him on the park. He does have a tendency to pick up the odd red card, and you need him on the park if Moreland are going to be successful this season. They need to keep him on the park for the remainder of the season, because he is a tower of strength there at the back. Moreland doing a really good job here at containing Avondale. They've having a lot of the ball, Avondale, but not really going anywhere with it, and that'll please the coaching staff of Moreland. Perhaps not so much Zoki Markowski, but
it's tense over there on the far side. Both coaches are up out of their seats observing this one, and that is a foul right in front of Moreland coach Dave Ostojic. So as we were saying around the grounds earlier today, Green Gully 2-0 winners against the 10-man Heidelberg, who had Jamal Ali sent off on 23 minutes. A couple of goals for Gully in the second half, including one to Shifa Ahmed. It was also 2-0 last night at Lakeside Stadium. South Melbourne collecting yet another win. Avondale looking to make the attack down the left-hand side, and Carpenter was providing the overlap. They had the numbers forward, but lost possession of the ball, and Jurcic is trying to send this one forward, looking for Jose Sands, who forlornly chases that ball that always favoured Aidan Bryce. Kamara receiving from Tom Manos. Pressure from Akuno. That was good pressure by Apia Akuno.
Good pressure. That's from Moreland. We spoke about it just now, and it's they've obviously set up with that in plan to try and pressure when that ball does go back into that defensive area there. They put the pressure on the back four of Avondale, and we know they've been susceptible this year, Steve, as well on being pressed. You know, they are a team that like to get the ball and like to play, but put pressure on them and they become uncomfortable, and that's what we're seeing here today.
Well, here's Diego Cuba in the long sleeves. Not his best attempt from the corner. He'll get the mulligan though, as that one came off George Mells at the near post. I think Fletcher Fulton skipped out of the way to, not sure if it was intentional, but it ricocheted off Mells and was out of play. Always well looked after here at Avenger Park. Up in the broadcast position as Akuno was there. And Sands had it taken off his foot by Carpenter. Sliding in was Jose Sands again. Carpenter just dinks it over the top to Ute Towns. Avondale controlling the ball well as they try and bring it out of their defence. Malls finds a good pocket of space, and he can turn and face forward and put it out in front of Ute Towns, the milestone man today, running at Jurcic. Towns goes past one, then another. Little reverse pass, and well played by Jurcic to drop in and read the play well there. Luke Jurcic, he's been good so far today.
He did really well there, because he had to pop in as that centre-back. Corey Thomas found himself much further up the field than he probably would have liked, which left the space on this wide side here, because he was obviously in pitch, but defended well.
So it was really the counter-attack move to an extent there that Avondale used to try and get up into the final third, because it's probably the more likely way of getting through this Moreland defence is to lure them forward and then try and smash them on the break. And here's another instance of that now as George Ott is into the penalty area. This is George Ott pulling the trigger and scoring. What a fine strike by the big Otter for Avondale, and George Ott gets the first goal. We've gone almost 30 minutes here. Another Avondale raid on the left-hand side. Yeah, coming down the line from Carpenter, and Ott made it all happen in the end.
Yeah, we talk about, don't we, Avondale playing lovely football and try and work it through the thirds, but that was just a long ball over the top to Ott. He outmuscled Corey Thomas there, pulled it inside, dropped the shoulder and smashed it into the bottom corner. 1-0 Avondale.
Yeah, Egwick with no chance at the near post there. A powerful shot from close range, but he had a lot of work to do when he first picked up the ball there, the big New Zealander George Ott, and a real confidence boosting finish for him as he makes that his 6th goal of the season in NPL Victoria. And that makes it 9 in all competitions for him, with 3 in the Australia Cup / Doherty Cup, and maybe even more here as Sian Cuba is running at the defence. And Ott, it's a nice turn by him, and he tried his luck. It deflected off Corey Thomason out for a corner. So Ott is the man of the moment out there right now as we go over the 30-minute mark. And, well, it was the first really good look at goal for either side so far, and George Ott made the most of it. It was World Otter Day a couple of weeks ago, or a week and a half ago, but it's certainly George Ott Day today out there at the moment so far in this one. His goal separating the two sides as Sian Cuba goes over to take the corner kick.
Yeah, have a sneaky feeling looking at that 6-yard box just going in there, Steve, you reckon?
Was right in there and aimed at Ott, and Agwick did well in the end under pressure. He was shoved into the upright. He held his ground there. The sub-keeper for Avondale, who's come into the side today. Regularly the backup keeper come in to replace Alexander Condolian, and he's already had to pick the ball out of his net once, but he was refusing to do so there. Just feeling his shoulder. He had to really stand tall amongst a sea of blue shirts and claim that ball that was, as you mentioned, Craig, really aimed in at the goal line. Just about Olympico territory there from Sian Cuba.
Yeah, it's a good corner in. Thought the guy looked a little bit uncomfortable as that ball came in, to be honest with you, because he's a tall lad. Thought he might have got above and tried to grab that, but he sort of flapped at it and caused himself a few problems. First bit of pressure that he's really been under.
He's Fulton on the far side, back to Kiflay. Sutsides now. Moreland, they've been really good so far, but that goal by George Ott might have just dented their confidence a little bit here. They shouldn't feel that they're out of the equation at the moment, as Corey Thomas, the skipper, is on the ball in the white boots, the all-white kit. Canatali, real pressure from Carpenter. No holding back there, Blake Carpenter, straight through, making the challenge. Canatali's got a smile on his face, though. He saw the funny side of things as he got a bit of a sledge from Adam Al-Hayek, I fancy.
Yeah, referee just having a quiet word with the ball boys. 2 balls on the pitch.
Yeah, we definitely don't need more than one football out there at any given time. Good first touch by Ott, who changed direction. He's growing in confidence, George Ott, as this ball is played out to Adam Al-Hayek. He looks to have switched over to this near side of the pitch, the left flank. Carpenter trying to run through Corey Thomas, but there was no way through. The Moreland captain and Al-Hayek all the way back to Kalalu Kamara, and Avondale now looking really good value after going ahead 1-0. They've really clicked into gear, you fancy.
Yeah, Moreland just need to be careful there. You know, when they do attack Avondale, they attack with pace and they attack with vengeance, and you can see that, you know, on a couple of occasions they have that the Moreland front 3 or 4 are just not getting back, and that's giving Avondale an opportunity. And I think, you know, if they're going to play this mid-block, which they look like they're playing when they haven't got the ball, they need to make sure that they do it you know, as soon as they lose the ball, because Avondale are very dangerous on the break. Right? That's where they get their goals. And
it was probably what we could see coming if Avondale were to open the scoring. It would have been through that method, and that ball from Carpenter in his own half. But Sands is onside here. The flag stays down for Jose Sands. He was running shoulder to shoulder with Aidan Bryce, and well, he might have made more of that opportunity there, Jose Sands. He couldn't convert it into a shot on goal to threaten Tom Manos.
He's no slouch. Aidan Bryce, he's a very big lad, 6'3", 6'4", but he's no slouch, that's for sure. But
it's the first time I've seen Sands live. The player with extensive experience in the Chilean footballing pyramid, 27 years of age, and interesting player to play as part of that front two with Apia Akuno. There's a lot of pace and guile between those two, as Winston Diaz is roaring on goal. 1-2 with Ott. Good defending Sutsides, and now Thomas is trying to find a way to get this ball up the park. It's picked off by Carpenter. Al-Hayek now. Carpenter continues his run. This is dangerous by Avondale. Oh, well read Sutsides, but only as far as Carpenter, who tries the banana. And it's off target. Not far away from Blake Carpenter. Worth an attempt. Trying to curl it into that top right corner.
Yeah, just a little bit of panic stations there in that defensive area for Moreland. Just need to remain calm, not give the ball away unnecessarily, because they're going to be doing a lot of chasing this afternoon. So keep it when they've got it.
Canatelli looking for Akuno, gets there first ahead of Kamara, and he's going to win his side a corner kick here. So good play by Canatelli, and up here Akuno, Diego Cuba moving down to take the corner kick, but there's an injury concern here for George Malls, so not what was on the menu for Zoki Markowski. They've had enough injuries to central midfield players so far this season.
Yeah, I think he's instigating maybe a substitution, just looking over to the bench there, and I saw some finger movements.
Well, I thought the subs were warming up, but it was a couple of ball boys having a juggle of the football over on the far side. And as you mentioned earlier in the commentary, Craig, that the referee needs to keep an eye on that sort of thing so we don't get two balls on the pitch. But at the moment, the concern is about George Malls, and the trainer has indicated that we'll need to make a change here. So this could be a delay that we will see before this corner kick can be taken.
That's not what Zoki Markowski would have wanted. 36 minutes into a game, is have another player go down injured.
So the options on the bench: Ethan Pisani, Jacob Chinema, Alessio Centaro, Lucas Hogan. Just 4 outfield players to pick from over there. There still doesn't really appear to be anyone warming up there on the far side, Craig, which is puzzling to say the least. As Malls has walked off to the sideline. So Avondale down to 10 here. Diego Cuba's corner. It's away by Ott. Picked up by Diaz. This is where Avondale can be dangerous with the pace of Liston Diaz. They just about need to find a way to bring him down here, and he does go to ground, but under his own steam and not by virtue of any foul play by the Moreland defence.
Really interesting, Steve. 37 minutes, 6 or 7 minutes till half time. Probably a little bit more, probably closer to 10 minutes. And no substitutions warming up. So Avondale down to 10 men.
All 5 of those players in the yellow vest over there, all sitting down, remaining seated, which is, well, it's a little baffling really for me, but George Otter's on the ball here. Avondale down to 10 for the moment. Yeah,
probably just looking at what options they have on the bench and where they can fit them in. It looks like they've got somebody ready. We'll find out who that is very shortly. But again, not what Avondale want. They're already down to the bones of a squad, and losing influential player in George Mells is certainly not going to help.
Well, as the helicopter flies overhead, we can see the player in question who's taken off the vest is getting the instructions from Andy Vargas, and Moreland can try and make the most of this opportunity against 10 players. Here's Sands, using his body well. Good strength by Jose Sands. Having to chase again against Cuba. Really physical play out there from the Chilean. Sutsides. Oh, not a good touch by Sands, and that relieves the pressure on the 10 men of Avondale. And the sub player has been told to put the vest back on while he's still receiving the instructions by the fourth official over on the far side.
I think that the coaching staff are just checking with George Mells to see whether he's definitely done, but I can tell you his afternoon is officially done.
You wonder if it was maybe a muscle strain or something that he was bringing into the game that he was already aware of that's let him down and let go.
Yeah, I was speaking to Zora Markowski this morning, Steve, and he was saying all his injuries, bar one, are soft tissue injuries, which was a big issue for them a few seasons ago. And last season they sort of got it right. Strength and conditioning coaching that they had here at the time came in and did a great job, but they've gone back to having a few muscle injuries this year, which is a bit of a problem.
Moreland back on the ball again here through Waters. Now Fulton. Sands was the target of that pass, but it's going to run harmlessly through to Tom Manos. Just over 5 minutes to go to the interval, and that sub is about to take place. George Mells have a shower and get changed in the half-time. Oh, on that
Yeah, it looks like. It's not a nasty one, because they're horrible injuries.
So a chance for the former Western United youngster. 5 goals in the under-21s last year and 3 for Avondale this season in the 23s for Alessio Centaro. With a name like Centaro, you feel like you'd be a good option to play in the centre of the park.
Good opportunity for him.
Liston Diaz, the Pistons are pumping here, and Sutsides got there first. Good positioning by Michael Sutsides, and he wins the throw as well. Well, looks like Centaro might be lining up on the left flank, perhaps. We'll keep an eye on his positioning. And that might mean someone's been pushed inboard, if that is the case. Manos gets there first, ahead of the freight train that was coming his way, which was Akuno.
Yeah, it looked like Vargas perhaps has gone inside, alongside Cuba and Towns.
It might be Al Hayek in there.
Oh, actually, it is Al Hayek.
Yeah, Adam Al Hayek, who's, well, he's normally a fullback. He's played as a right winger, and now he's getting his chance to play as a central mid, so plenty of versatility. He's Ott. Good skill. First touch for Centaro. Carpenter went past Thomas like he wasn't even there and squares the ball across there. It should have been a tap in for Cuba. Somehow Moreland scrap it away. That should have been 2-0. Still he goes, George Ott. Big challenge in from Sutsides. You won't see a better sliding challenge than that one by Michael Sutsides to deny George Ott, but Sion Cuba is wondering how he didn't score there, Craig.
Yeah, and I was just thinking to myself, does that class as the substitution Santaro's does an assist in his first touch of the ball, but somehow they managed to save it out. I'm not sure whether it's Susis or the keeper that saved that, but it doesn't matter. It didn't go in the back of the net, which was a massive point at this stage of the first half.
Might have been Agwick, but looking at the replay, it could have also been the man on the line. But there's a foul for a high elbow there against Apia Akuno. ...191 centimetres in height, and at full flight there was Apia Akuno, but a judge to have used the elbow. Sands cuts out the ball, and maybe Moreland can break here through Cuba. Fulton looking for Akuno. Avondale are going to come away with it now. Avondale with 11 players back out on the park again. Players popping up in the right areas. Liston Diaz, who started on the left wing and has shifted across to the right, inboard to Cuba. Diaz is there again, controlling it off the shoulder, goes to ground. Inside the area too, but no foul was the call by Terry Constantelos. Inside 2 minutes till the interval, and the coaches preparing their team talks, and Dave Ostojic, well, I'm not too sure what he'll have to say to his team. They haven't really been too far off, but certainly that goal has rocked them, and they've been a little bit at sea since then, you'd have to say.
Yeah, I think get back into that organisational structure that they had in that first 25 minutes of the game, which they were very good. They nullified Avondale to any real clear-cut chances. And apart from the goal, they haven't really had chances, apart from the one that's got saved just a few moments ago, but they haven't created a lot. So Moreland will be more the same, I think, and hope that they can put some pressure on the Avondale back four and get the ball turned over and have a chance that way.
Just wonder if Moreland can get the ball out to Canatelli more. They looked really good when they were getting him involved in the opening minutes, and he's been lacking a little bit of supply, or been a bit quiet in the last 20 minutes or so. Carpenter having all of the fun out there at the moment in that duel, and here he goes, Blake Carpenter, but he's shown too much of it to Corey Thomas. Al Hayek, who's deputising in the midfield three. Still he goes, Adam Al Hayek, an enterprising run from him. Sutsides receives from Thomas. Al Hayek is down in back play. Strong challenge. Well, the milestone man in Towns, and this is not a good sign for Avondale. They've already lost George Mells today, and the trainer is being called back out onto the park. He's only just sat down, this medico. He's working overtime. He might need to keep an eye on the soft tissue injuries himself. He's covering that much territory, but at the moment the concern is for Adam Al Hayek, who went down after making a really good forward run there.
Yeah, he looks in a bit of pain there, doesn't he?
He does. You might catch that one on our replay screen and just see if we can see what happened. He went past the challenge of Jurcic, spiraled on the ground.
A good tackle. There's nothing wrong with the tackle, whether he's landed awkwardly. Looks like the physio's giving the thumbs up, so I think they'll wait, get in at half-time, have a look at him through the half-time break and assess the situation. But for the moment, it looks like he's okay.
Yeah, they may have to, maybe they'll play with 10 and just see, well, it looks like the shoulder. It's the shoulder, so
yeah.
Well, that's reminiscent of that injury we saw with Lucas Derrick for Green Gully up at Olympic Village earlier this season. Hopefully not as severe as that one. Derrick still hasn't made a comeback to the first team.
He looks in a bit of pain there, does.
It's an injury consistent or similar to something you might see in a Grand Tour. The cyclist doing the collarbone and the shoulder, landing awkwardly and popping it out of place. Well, I wouldn't be surprised if he maybe slugs it out until the interval and then he might be taken out of the game at half-time. But certainly the medical staff at Avondale working overtime. As we've seen in recent weeks, they're still on a good unbeaten run despite that. Unbeaten in their last 5.
Yeah, he looks as if he's going to be okay, Steve.
It's Centauro, the substitute. Jurcic spread himself. Made things difficult for the Avondale youngster. As we mentioned, looks like a good prospect, Centauro. So 5 goals for Western United's under-21s last season, already 3 goals for Avondale's 23s this year. Getting his chance to play over a half a game this afternoon. Lining up on the left wing since coming on for the injured George Mells, who went off feeling the hammy on around 35 to 40 minutes. Well, that point in time in the game, here's Towns playing forward. El Hayek just feeling that shoulder again as he plays the ball forward.
Okay, but he looks in a bit of pain, doesn't he, Steve?
Cuba. I do think he'll go off at half-time. Here's Diaz. Advantage is played by the referee again. He's down to block the shot. Cuba trying to win the ball. He's adjudged by the assistant referee over there to have impeded his opponent, and it'll be a free kick for the visitors. And a bit of head tennis all on his own there by Sian Cuba. Queenslander trying to entertain the fans. There's not a lot of fans over that side of the ground, though. Might have to try and do those tricks over this side of the pitch.
It's nice to see the stand back open, though, Steve, on the far side.
It is. It's really important to have good elevated positions to enjoy the action, and it's something that was missing in action for, well, it felt like about 2 seasons. Canatelli, Carpenter again, who's really lifted his game in the second portion of this first 45. But the decision goes the way of Moreland. So we're well and truly approaching the end of this first half stoppage time. It was 3 minutes indicated. Good long throw right into the danger zone, and the overhead kick from Fulton. That would have been something. Canatelli trying to line up the volley. Hot went down, and a well-won free kick by the New Zealander. And if you have just joined us, it's his goal that separates the two sides. Taken quickly, that ball was, well, worth a shot, but it was aimed at Diaz, but he was never really going to get there. But the second ball's picked up, but half-time sounds. Oh, it looks like Sian Cuba's incensed. He wanted the play to continue because he thought that was an attacking phase where Terry Constandellis shouldn't sound the half-time whistle, but that's the end of proceedings for the first 45 here. A really bright opening by Moreland, but it was Avondale that really took charge of the second part of that first 45 after a wonderful individual goal by George Ott, who was set free in the left-hand side by Blake Carpenter, and he went into the box and fired past at the near post past Moreland keeper Santo Agweek. An injury to George Mells was a concern. We saw him subbed out and replaced by Alessio Centauro. And then there was some concern for Adam El-Hayek, who went down awkwardly on his shoulder in the latter stages of that one. An entertaining first 45 though, Craig.
It was great first half, Steve. Thoroughly enjoyed that one. And Zoki Markowski just having a word with the officials as they're coming off, maybe asking them to protect his players a little bit. But in both the instances, there was nothing in it. Concern for Avondale will be the El-Hayek injury. They certainly don't need any more injuries within the group. But something they'll look at. But for Moreland City, I think more the same. I think, keep it nice and tight, keep it nice and compact. Allow Avondale to have those balls in those wide areas, and just don't allow that space in the middle of the park. But good first half, and looking forward to a cracking second.
Well, we're looking forward to bringing you the second 45 of this contest. Moreland City, we're hoping to get some attempts on goal to test Tom Manos in the second 45. Just 2 attempts, both of them off target in the first 45 of this match. But at half-time, we will take a short intermission. At the moment, it is that goal from the boot of the New Zealander George Ott that separates the two sides. At half-time, we will be back after this short break. Both myself, Steve Curtin and Craig Fowler, where it is a 1-0 advantage to the Avengers. Avondale 1, Moreland City 0 at the break. Well, hello and welcome back to Avenger Park. This NPL Victoria clash between Avondale and Moreland City. George Ott's goal midway through that first half. The difference between the two sides as they come back out for the second stanza of this one. Pleasure to be able to bring this one to you from the comfort of your own home this afternoon. Both myself, Steve Curtin, and alongside me, welcome back to the commentary position. Good to be working together again with you, Craig Filer.
Yeah, Steve, thanks very much. Just been down in the tunnels there, just trying to get some information on the injury status of Avondale. And Hockey Markowski come past me, said we must be the unluckiest team in NPL football. So Adam Al-Hayek is off. He has done his shoulder. Doesn't look very good. He's off to hospital as we speak.
He braved, he toughed it out there, and he played another 5 or 6 minutes with a busted shoulder or collarbone there.
Yeah,
so
you could see he was in a lot of pain, and also got the news that George Mells has done his hamstring. So not good news for Avondale at all. Maybe good news for the rest of the league, but certainly not for Zoki Markowski and the Avondale squad, who are already, as we said in the first half, down to the bare bones.
Well, there's a chance for Ethan Pisani to make the most of the misfortune that has fallen on Adam Al-Hayek. So Pisani's going to get a full 45 minutes out there. He's in the number 12 jersey. And, well, we said before the game that there was Zoki Markowski sitting over there on the esky on the far side. And he's up out of his seat now. But 8 players out of the first team. 8 regular first teamers not available today. 2 more players injured in the first 45. They can't really, despite having one of the deeper squads going around in NPL football anywhere in the country, they can't really afford to lose anyone else. Here's a chance for Diaz. Picking up the ball again. Diaz combining with Centaro, and the ball aimed over at the far post. Let's sit for Cuba, who tries his luck from distance. Capable of scoring this spectacular goal, and that certainly would have been up there with any other goal that he scored this season had that flew into the top left corner. Fortunately for Moreland, it went wide, and the scoreline remains 1-0 in this one. And Moreland, as we said, they've been the team that struggled. No points in their first 12 and picking up 7 points in their last 4 fixtures. Unlucky not to get the 3 points last week against Port Melbourne, conceding in the 90th minute, which was the same fate that bestowed Avondale, conceding in the 94th minute against the Melbourne Knights to a Kieran Bramwell goal. Especially when the Knights are only down to only just 10 players.
Yeah, look, Moreland will take confidence in the fact that 2 of their better players are now off the park, and they've just got to try and get on the ball. As Carpenter gets a corner. Does he? No, he gets a goal kick to Moreland City in the opening minutes of this half. But yeah, really being unlucky with the injuries again, haven't they, Avondale? As I said in the first half, 2 seasons ago, went through the whole process as well. And finished way down in the NPL ladder last year. They had a full squad to choose from and won just about everything. And now they're in a situation where they are down to the bones again.
Well, Moreland, they've still got a full 6 players on the bench to pick from for Dave Stoich to bring on in the second 45. So maybe that swings the pendulum a little bit in their favour. But at the moment, they've got all the work to do. That's a strong header by the man flying high on the far side, which was Marco Canatali. No one there to get on the end of it, though, for Moreland. So just a little bit disjointed in the final third, perhaps, and that's costing them this afternoon so far.
Moreland City, as we talk about players that are out for Avondale. Nick Babkar, who's been out for a long time with a nasty...
He did the ACL last season.
Yeah, nasty injury, is back and probably looking to get into the starting 11, or certainly in the squad for next week, which is great to hear.
Yeah, really good news. The better of the Babkar brothers back out there. Yeah. Hello to Adam if you're listening this afternoon. Good header by Liston Diaz. Sets it up nicely for Vargas. Centauro's ball. Out to Diaz. Near the byline. Away by Sutsides. And then up the field by Kifle. Only as far as Kamara. Oh, he had his pocket picked by Jose Sands. What a good duel between these two. Physical presence for both sides. Diaz. Sutsides. Off the chest, read it well. Picked up by Dean Waters. And the Irishman switches the play, looking for Canatali, who stretches to keep it in. Jurcic is providing the overlap. When he couldn't find him with the pass, and Sian Cuba is going to combine here. The 1-2 with George Ott, and still he goes, Sian Cuba. Does he pull the trigger or try and thread the pass for Liston Diaz? Well, it was just a fraction too vertical, and in the end it was easily picked up by Santo Agwek.
Yeah, it doesn't look like a change of formation or anything for either side. Just more of a personnel change for Avondale, as we said.
Yeah, Ethan Pisani, he's lining up as the left back. It looks like they've pushed Blake Carpenter
more forward, yeah,
higher up the park into a front. Well, it's like there's without the ball, it's 4, isn't there? Yeah. So we're perhaps seeing George Ott play that role that we saw Liam Boland play a little bit in previous years. Looks like the striker, but he drops into that 10, even sometimes an 8 sort of role further into midfield. And Santoro playing something of a false 9, just trying to stretch the defence. So something a little bit different there. So Zocchi might have just tweaked things a little bit in the halftime interval here. Here's Corey Thomas. Moreland have had plenty of possession since the break, but what's been difficult is translating it into meaningful attacks on goal. They still haven't tested Tom Manos in the first 50 minutes of this contest. 51 minutes on the clock now. Waters. Picked up by Yite Towns.
Yeah, they can't give the ball away cheaply like that, Moreland. Just got to try and keep it when they do get an opportunity to get on the ball. They've got to keep it and try and work something. Giving it back to is just what Avondale want, because they'll now keep the ball and just work it around the pitch and wait for the openings.
Well, Dave Stoich might look to his bench soon. Some of those options: Curtis Miley, Kura Robb, Matt Spall, Luca Toro, and Aidan Croucher. The outfield players available to him on the bench. Zoran Markowski not left with a lot of options on his bench. Only Jacob Chinema and Lucas Hogan remain available as possible second half subs to come on as outfield players. Moreland trying to play out of their own 6-yard box here with Agwek. Hopefully not playing with fire here as far as the Moreland fans are concerned, and they put it out of play. Kifle had it spent before he got it there and taken quickly by Liston Diaz, looking for Ott, and Cuba's getting on the end of it. Red alert for Moreland, but it's away only as far as Vargas. Now Diaz throws the dummy. Vargas again looking to get around Kifle. Kifle forces him back. Vargas refusing to give up.
Done very well there, very well.
Towns. looking for his first goal of the season in his milestone game. Pisani receiving from Bryce, the half-time substitute who replaced Adam Al-Hayek. Carpenter, who's playing as something of a left midfielder, or a left winger even, in this second half. Vargas. Plenty of possession here for the Avengers. Can they translate it into a goal that would double their lead and not leave them in a situation where they're prone to a last-minute equaliser like they were last week, as the ball's fired in by Diaz. Well positioned was Corey Thomas to nod that one over towards the Reggio Calabria building and out for a corner kick.
Yeah, and that's what they can do. They can keep the ball and suck you in and then play a quick transition, get that ball into those areas and a ball into the box, and before you know it, you're under pressure. But a good defensive header there from Corey Thomas.
Well, Adam Al-Hayek has emerged from the club rooms with the slides and the socks on, and the arm is in a sling underneath the big jacket, so he'll be awaiting maybe an x-ray or some scans on that shoulder and or collarbone. But he just about got a smile on his face, which is somewhat encouraging to see that he's doing okay. As this ball's drilled in by Carpenter. Well, it was aimed at the back post where Kamara was arriving. It was too hot to handle. The trajectory of it almost saw it go out on the full on the far side of the pitch. You don't see too many corners driven in like that these days, but that one certainly was from Blake Carpenter. Jurcic with the throw on the far side. Here's Sands. The ball breaks for Waters, who fires it out to Canatelli, who's switched flanks over to this left-hand side of the park now. Vargas receiving from Kamara. Yite Towns. Low centre of gravity. Poises and turns and plays the ball out to this near side. Vargas. So still a 1-0 game here. George Ott, the goal scorer. Steve Curtin and Craig Filer with you. NPL Victoria, round 17 of the competition, getting towards the business end of the season too. Games coming thick and fast for clubs like Avondale, who are still alive in the cup competition. Kamara all the way back to Manos, who still hasn't had to make a save this afternoon.
Interesting with Moreland's City, Steve, in their terms of their games. They lose a lot of games by the odd goal. I think 9 games this season they've lost by 1 goal.
That's right. The goal difference is nowhere near as bad as some of their rivals at that wrong end of the table.
They've had 2 big thumpings, 4-0 away at St Albans, I think it was, and home at Manningham. But apart from that, they've been in most games. So they just perhaps haven't got those that striker that puts the ball in the back of the net on a consistent basis.
Well, we're going to see Dave Ostojic go to the bench for the first time this afternoon. Looks like it's the end of the afternoon for Ali Kiflay. And the player coming on. It's like a like-for-like change at left back. It looks like Matt Spall is lining up there. We've seen him playing as a striker at times. And Diaz tries his luck, and Agwek does enough to tip it over with 2 hands. It was an acrobatic save in the end. The strike put a bit of fear into the Moreland City keeper. Diaz pulling the trigger from outside the box.
Yeah, great strike from Diaz. We know he's got that in his locker, coming in on his left foot. But a good save from Magak there, and it's another corner which Blake Carpenter will take. But yeah, looking at this left back with Matt Spall, he is the type of player that can play in many different positions, and they'll be really looking forward to getting Nick Bavkar back in the side.
Oh, it's nearly beaten everyone at the back post. It's going to be a penalty. Terry Constandalis points to the spot, I presume for a handball. The Moreland players are up in arms about the decision. No pun intended, but it's going to be a chance from the spot to none other than the milestone man, Ute Towns. We'll watch that one again on the replay screen, but the corner in by Carpenter, causing a bit of havoc in the Moreland 6-yard box. And so we just checked that replay again. Well, it might have been against Akuno. He was the man who was up in protest more than any other.
Yeah, referee's just had a word with his, having a word with his assistant here.
Well, is there a chance this could be overturned?
Maybe. But the goalkeeper was all at 6s and 7s again there. We saw in the first half when a corner came in. Now this definitely a penalty.
Well, we've seen a couple of times, as you mentioned, Craig, they've targeted those corner kicks really close to the goal line. Oh, wow.
Red card for Cuba.
Oh, my. So the red card is out of the pocket from Terry Constandelos. So the chat that was going on between the officials was not so much about
penalty,
whether it was a penalty, it was about what the punishment would be.
I can only assume that it was for some kind of violation towards the officials.
Unless it was for...
I can't imagine that it was anything, because there certainly doesn't look like anything on the replays.
Well, this is not good news for Moreland. They're going to be down to 10 men here. And they're potentially going to be down 2-0. It's going to be an awfully long wait for this penalty kick to be taken. We've seen a lot of red cards of late in NPL Victoria. Well, even the spectators around us are trying to catch the replay of this one on their phones to discover what's happened, but nonetheless, there's going to be a penalty kick for Ute Towns, and Diego Cube has been marched to the touchline. So in the milestone game, it's Ute Towns off the post and in. Ute Towns savours the moment in milestone game 169. He puts it away, giving Agwek no chance as that ball cannoned in off the post. And the 10-man Moreland City are in all sorts of strife now. Avondale double their lead. Ute Towns, his first of the season. And what a time to put it away, but it's terrible news for Moreland City with Diego Cuba in the chance to match up against his brother Sian. He's been marched off the field, and he will get first pick of the shower cubicles in the second 45 here in the Moreland City change rooms.
The only thing I can think of, Steve, I'm just looking at the replay and I'm just looking at Cuba, and he doesn't look like he's having a go at any of the officials. Whether it was a goal-scoring opportunity that was stopping that. That's the only thing I can think of, because he's certainly not gesturing towards the official. So maybe it is a goal-scoring opportunity, but.
Well, I'm sure all will be revealed when the suspension report comes out as to what sort of red card it was given for, but Moreland in real trouble now as Spall tries to get forward. The substitute wins a free kick. Fans are finding full voice in front of us. It's a good crowd in here today. Moreland City fans incensed by the decision to send off Diego Cuba after that infringement that led to a penalty kick after the corner came in from Blake Carpenter. It's going to be Matt Spall to deliver this free kick to try and get Moreland back into the game. It's too shallow off the shin pad of George Ott, high up into the sky as the lights have come on here. We're not too far from the winter solstice, the shortest day of the year, and it's certainly time to turn on the candles. They are really only training lights. They're not very high, those light towers here at Avenger Park, but they'll do the job for now as Ute Towns shares the ball with Kamara, and now Manos switching the play out wide on the far side. Here is Carpenter. He's enjoying playing a little bit further up the park, and he's lost possession here. His Sands. Can the 10 men of Moreland conjure up something special here? Of course, it was a 10-man Melbourne Knights that scored a late equaliser against Avondale here last Saturday at Avenger Park. Waters switching the play. Corey Thomas getting forward from central defence. Jurcic providing the overlap. It's a good run by Luke Jurcic. Can he supply the cross? Fulton was the target at the near post, but it was well away by Aidan Bryce. Corey Thomas has got 2 to beat, and there's no free kick going Moreland's way here, so Avondale are going to continue in possession. This is Sian Cuba, the Cuba who is still out on the park. Well, they've turned it over again. Here's Waters. Neither side able to hang on to the ball at the moment. Waters directing traffic, finds Fulton, who's drifted inboard, but he's dispossessed by Yite Towns, and Avondale could potentially break here. Centauro tries his luck from distance. Centauro, a sensational goal by him. Buries the chance. Alessio Centauro is the name of the scorer, and what a fine way to open your account for Avondale's senior team this afternoon. The former Western United product with a goal right out of the top draw.
Yeah, look, a good strike. Poor goalkeeping from a Jack in goal. Should have done better. We'll look back on that and think that he should have got his body behind the ball, slipped under his arms. He's had a poor afternoon as the Moreland City shot stopper, but hey, great goal, great first goal for the youngster.
I'm just watching the replay. Fed the ball by Diaz onto his left, then back onto his right, picked his spot. Almost the exact same spot that Yite Towns had placed his penalty kick, but that one was from outside the box. So a fine finish by the youngster. Coming across from the Western United Academy in the off-season and making an impression here in an injury-ravaged Avondale side. One of the benefits are opportunities for these young players to come in and stake their claims, and we've seen players like Seb Vargas become a mainstay in the team of late. Good to see young players getting a chance in NPL Victoria. So plenty of work to do for Moreland now. Canatelli was all on his own there and dispossessed, and here's Diaz, and Moreland could really blow the doors off here. Oh, good outstretched right boot, denies them. Michael Sutsides.
Yeah, the challenge for Moreland now is they want to go forward and they want to try and get that goal, but that's going to leave them susceptible at the back. And as we've said throughout the game, you know, Avondale are lethal on that counter-attack, so you know, maybe they just need to tighten ship. 3-0 is 3-0. Keep the goal average down as much as they can.
Well, this situation was the downfall a short time ago from this corner kick from Blake Carpenter. It's going to be drilled in at the near post again. It goes up in the air off the boot of Waters, and it's claimed this time by Santo Aguek. Gets the ball rolling, literally. Corey Thomas has moved further up the pitch into a central midfield role there, Craig, so a bit of a change up from Dave Ostoich to try and get themselves back into this one, and Kerr Rob looks like he's going to be coming on. He's one of a couple of subs over on the far side who have been readied.
Yeah, I think they've gone 3 at the back, Moreland, Steve, and as you quite rightly said, pushed Corey Thomas more in an advanced role.
Here's Waters switching the play out to Fulton, who's been quiet by his standards this afternoon. Giving chase to Sands. He gets the better of Bryce. This is Jose Sands, and Manos makes his first save of the afternoon. It comes in the 67th minute. He spread himself well to deny the Chilean, and it's gone behind for a Moreland corner kick.
Yeah, strong play, centre forward play from Sands there. Was determined to get to that ball before the Avondale defender. So we look for a double substitution here for Moreland City, Steve. Like,
yeah, those changes are going to come through now, so that's going to be the end of the afternoon for the youngster Marco Canatelli, who's opened the game brightly but unable to replicate the heroics that he achieved last week when he got himself on the score sheet in the first couple of minutes. So Aidan Croucher, the 20-year-old from previously at Box Hill United, is brought into the play, as is Kerr Rob. So 2 20-year-olds coming onto the park for Moreland. Thomas is there, and it's a second attempt on target in as many minutes by Moreland City, and Manos is able to field that one in a regulation fashion, and it's a bit of an injury concern now for Kalalu Kamara, and well, you've almost got to chuckle because you just can't believe the misfortune that Avondale are having. It looks like Kamara is going to be able to jog this off. He's a bit proppy, but Well,
can you imagine the conversations go over on that Avondale bench every time an Avondale player goes down on the park? It must be horrendous for them.
Just look at the body language of Zoki Markowski over there sitting on the esky.
I reckon there's some whiskey or something in that esky. There must be. He has to have something to cheer him up on the sidelines.
Maybe that was Marcelo Bielsa's secret with the esky on the touchline. Wheel that into the stadium and no one checks for any contraband items inside as you're coming in, perhaps. Here's George Ott picking up the ball on the halfway line. He's able to turn and play forward. He's got a couple players ahead of him. Centauro. He's already got one this afternoon. He's had his shot blocked by Sutsides this time, who's probably blocked more shots than anyone in NPL Victoria this season. Wish we still had those Opta stats packs that we used to get last season to highlight those sort of little finer points. Really good little bits of data that, well, we'll only have to speculate this season. We don't have the records of those facts as Kamara brings the ball across the halfway line. Liston Diaz receives it on the half turn. Good technique and skill, and he fires it out wide towards Carpenter, but it was picked off by Fulton. High up in the air by Jurcic. Good first touch by Sands, who was holding off his opponent in Bryce. Well played by the big striker. Here's Thomas. This is Spall, the boy from Bendigo. He's going to win another free kick here, is he? No, play on is the call by Terry Constandelos. And Avondale's going to look to break again here. Jurcic with the header to repel, but only as far as Ute Towns in a good pocket of space, and he's already got one goal in his milestone game this afternoon. Thomas picks up the loose ball. His first touch took it in the direction of Carpenter, though. Jurcic, and his clearance is blocked by Carpenter and out of play at the Reggio Calabria club end, the northern end, Brunswick Road end of Avenger Park, where the scoreline reads 3-0 to the visitors as we approach 70 minutes. Goals from Ott, Towns, and the youngster getting his chance, his first goal for the senior team today, Alessio Centauro. Centauro with arguably the pick of the three.
Yeah, he's done well since he's come on, Steve. He's been busy putting himself about.
It's made a big impact. Okuno with good close control, but it's his opposing striker, George Ott, dropping in there again. George Ott, he's playing, as we mentioned before, it seems to be a genuine number 10 role at the moment, allowing Centauro to play in front of him. Here's Vargas. Diaz in the yellow boots, heads inboard, shows his opponent a clean pair of heels, and here's Centauro again. Tries to find Diaz, and Diaz is in here. Good save, Agwek. It comes back to Diaz, and at the back post is Blake Carpenter. Jurcic to beat. Straight into the bread basket, blocked by Jurcic, and he's cleared that one away nicely because it falls for Fulton, who can get the counter-attack going here for the 10 men of Moreland. Out of play, good screening by Ute Towns, who, another player, if we're talking about stats out there, if we saw the GPS stats for Ute Towns, no doubt that he covers every blade of grass every time he plays here at Avenger Park. Yeah,
he certainly puts himself around, does a lot of Ks, and Jurcic is down here. I think he's that ball to the bread basket, as you so eloquently put it just now, Steve, has knocked him out.
Well, he did well to get back up and clear the ball, but then eventually the blow took its toll, you could say.
Should have controlled it a little bit better, I thought.
Nothing, a drink of water and a breather won't fix as he piffs that drink bottle back into the goal mouth. He's put in a good shift today, Luke Jurcic, playing as the right back in the back four, and now playing in the right centre back of a back three. We've actually gone back to a back four again since Kerr Robb has come on. The number 5 looks to be playing as the right-sided central defender alongside Sutsides, so it might actually be a back four again. You'd think playing with three...
It'd be a 4-4-1, I would imagine.
Yeah, playing with a back three against Avondale could be like playing with fire. Ball spread wide to Croucher. Croucher, who's now working as the left back out there. He came on to replace Kifley. Sian Cuba. Centauro gets the ball going forward, looking for Diaz. That direct ball again, worth a try, but it was well marshalled by Sutsides, who's furious at himself for giving the ball away after he'd won it back. Diaz. First time ball. Vargas getting forward. Avondale growing in confidence despite the injury toll that has hit them even more so this afternoon. Al Hayek and Mal's both going down with injuries in the first half and being subbed out of the game. Both of them look like they will miss next week and potentially a lengthy spell on the sidelines.
And of course the Australia Stroke Doherty Cup, which takes place on Tuesday against Stokely Cannons, doesn't it?
Yeah, out at the home of the Matildas, that'd be the place to be. Good venue to catch a game of football on a midweek night up there. Really good viewing points from that top floor seating area that grandstand has as Cuba's moving forward here, looking to play the 1-2 with Diaz. Avondale have really hit top gear particularly since Moreland have been reduced to 10 men with that sending off of Diego Cuba after Avondale were awarded a penalty kick for a handball in the 6-yard box, and we can only assume that the sending off was for the handball itself rather than any backshot from Diego Cuba. But we'll follow the notes that come out from the referees this week in the press.
Yeah, just going back to that, I can only imagine that's what it is. He's sort of handballed it. He was gesturing that it was his shoulder, but they've obviously deemed that as not only a red card but also a penalty, but a goal scoring opportunity, which resulted in the straight red.
Crouch has won the free kick here, and it's going to be a yellow card for Liston Diaz for his troubles. So Aidan Croucher is making his eighth appearance on the match day team sheet for the senior team here at Moreland City this season, after making the move across from Box Hill United in the off-season. Here's Corey Thomas combining with Sutsides. Thomas has, as we said, he's moved out of that central defensive role and back into a role where we've seen him usually play for Moreland in something of a defensive midfielder, number 6 role. The 10 men of Moreland, as the Galahs start to circle at the Calabria club end, and Moreland just trying to control the ball and bring it forward here against the 11 players of the Avengers. And Rob sends it long down the line, looking for Sands, who'd made the run. It was a good idea, but they ran out of room, and you can see the frustration from Jose Sands, who kicks out of the advertising hoardings. We're going to see a change for Dave Ostojic's side, and that's going to be the end of the afternoon for Jose Sands. Perhaps not happy at being substituted, or just frustration in general. And he is replaced by Luca Toro. Change brewing as well for Zoki Markowski's side, and it's the end of the afternoon for Sian Cuba. And he's replaced by another 20-year-old coming on off the bench. It's Jacob Chinema. Player that we haven't seen as much of. He made 4 appearances in the senior team last year, but only in the matchday squad a couple of times this year, getting his chance off the bench today at Chinema. Kamara took his eye off the ball, and it bounced awkwardly in front of him, but he's able to mop up and play it forward. Centauro, this is Diaz. A couple of players making runs in front of him, and he's going to keep going his own way, Liston Diaz. Croucher trying to apply the tackle. It's there. It could be a chance for Vargas. In off the post. It's Seb Vargas. Oh, he's got to be happy with that. Seb Vargas makes it for yet another finish off the inside of that far post at that end of the ground. This time it's right back. Seb Vargas getting in on the act. That's his first goal in the NPL Victoria senior competition, and you've got to be happy with the finish. Look at that, he put that one where the owl sleeps. Agwek with no chance.
Yeah, good side foot, just placed it into that top corner. Again, a felt the goalkeeper could have done slightly better with that, but maybe I'm being a little bit harsh. Maybe the finish was excellent. But either way, it's now a convincing 4-0 scoreline with just over 15 minutes, or just under 15 minutes of normal time.
Here's a Rob combining with Tsutsides. Towns. Well, the milestone game is really going well for Ute Towns, enjoying his football out there. The player who arrived here as a 19-year-old breaks the all-time games record for Avondale today as they look for maybe more here. Chinema looking to get on the end of this one, the substitute. Unable to do so. So Ute Towns breaking the games record with 169 appearances, surpassing Marin Jancic, who had 168. Here's Chinema, the substitute, trying to play it out in front of Blake Carpenter, but the pass was ambitious, even for the pace that Blake Carpenter possesses. We're going to see another change coming for Zoran Markowski's side, as we can see the last remaining outfield player on the bench preparing to come on, which will be young Lucas Hogan, the 19-year-old.
Yeah, and whilst it's a difficult situation for Avondale with the injuries, it is also a great opportunity for some of these youngsters to see whether they've got what it takes to step up to NPL. It is very different playing under 23s to playing senior football, but it's the opportunities that you want. And if the coaches are willing to give the opportunities, the rest is down to the players.
So will we see that change now? We will, in fact, and it's going to be, well, it's going to be a early mark for Seb Vargas, and, well, he's going to go off the park with a smile on his face because he's got his first NPL Victoria goal this afternoon. Son of a gun, Seb Vargas. A fine finish. We watched that goal again on the replay screen that he scored just a short time ago. It was just breaking for him. It was like it was all in slow motion. He was able to come in and side foot it. Find the top corner to make it 4-0. A real goal difference booster for Avondale. They came in with a plus 21 goal difference into this one, having scored 38 for the season. Well, they've now scored 42. And there could be even more here for Liston Diaz. It's wide. Well, he might have made more of the opportunity, in fact, Liston Diaz. So Hogan is on the park. Good chance for him. He got opportunity in the senior squad last week as well, did young Lucas Hogan. As we said, 19 years of age, and he turns 20 in just 10 days' time in the number 25. So he's operating as the left back, and Akuno's having a crack here, getting into the penalty area. It's Apia Akuno and blocked by Tom Manos. Well, that might have been straight into the breadbasket as well there. He's getting up, almost looking a bit ginger, but it's avoided the critical areas that he didn't want the ball to hit. Good save, Tom Manos, in the end. A man who hasn't had a lot to do today, but called on there by the shot from Apia Akuno. Yeah,
I was just going to say that. He's had nothing to do for the whole game, but that's a sign of a top-class goalkeeper when they needed to, that they come to... oh, that's a poor ball.
Well, here's Towns again, enjoying his milestone game as he sprays it out wide to Diaz and now Santoro. Towns again. Out wide is Carpenter. Looking to supply the cross here. Gets to the byline. Oh, Jurcic through a leg in, and it's going to be another penalty. Oh! It's all unravelled for Moreland City. Jurcic, he's had a great game. Tried to take the ball off the tricky Blake Carpenter.
Blake Carpenter's having this one as well, Steve. There's absolutely no chance anybody's taking this off him. Just having a look at...
There's already been a sentimental penalty kick for Yitte Town, so without a lot of the recognised senior players and penalty takers out there, Blake Carpenter was quick to seize on the opportunity, dusting himself off, and can he make it 5 in the 83rd minute? That's Blake Carpenter against Agwek, and he puts it in the top corner.
You don't save those ones. That's a fantastic penalty, and the acrobatics as well, just to add salt to the wounds. But yeah, convincing 5-0 performance now from Avondale.
Well, it wasn't a conservative penalty. He didn't just try and stroke it along the floor. He tried to put it right in that top corner, hooking it across Agwek. He certainly enjoyed that. The South Aussie, Blake Carpenter. That's his 3rd goal this season in NPL Victoria, the left back. And he's enjoying playing in a left-sided attacking role, making up for some of the attacking talent who's not there this afternoon for Avondale, the team that started this match with 8 senior players unavailable. And they've had 2 more go down with injury today. Moreland got an offer to try and get themselves something respectable, a goal to take back home with them this afternoon. And they're forced back again. Sudsidi's receiving from Kerr a Rob. As the lights start to take effect here at Avenger Park. Just 2 weeks short of the winter solstice here, and the day's certainly getting short in Melbourne, as Kerr Rob's pass was a bit short there and picked up by Blake Carpenter, who's certainly in the mood, throwing a few step-overs at the Moreland City opponents. This is Chinema. Skips past the challenge. Carpenter again out wide. That touch was a bit heavy and picked up by a Rob. And he was caught late there, Kerr Rob, and it's going to be a free kick going the way of Moreland City, who, well, they just can't get out of their own half, the 10 men of Moreland City at the moment.
No, Avondale are putting some horrendous pressure on those back 4. As soon as they get the ball or the ball goes back, they're stepping in, putting pressure on them, and they, as you said, Steve, they just can't get it out of that final third, or the defensive third, as from a Moreland City perspective. But yeah, the sendings off sort of killed the game, hasn't it? But as a spectacle, because they were in it up until that penalty, 1-0. You thought there's an opportunity for them. They could keep it tight. They might get 1 or 2 opportunities to put the ball. But as it is, Tom Manus has had very little to do in this half, or in this game. He's pulled off 1 great save from Akuno. This is exactly what Avondale, Steve, would have liked, you know, coming into a game on Tuesday evening, just to be able to keep the ball now and get a bit of confidence. You know, give some youngsters an opportunity to see whether they can step up into this level.
Well, under 5 minutes to go here at Avenger Park as the floodlights start to take effect. Not a bad crowd in here for this particular clash between 2 northern suburb sides this afternoon. The Moreland City fans going home just a bit unhappy, and understandably so. They've shown a lot of promise, picking up those 7 points in their last 4 games prior to today. Almost getting a 3rd win of the season last week as well, but it wasn't to be against Port Melbourne. They've got the ball down into the attacking third here, and is there a chance that they can get themselves a goal to add some respectability to this one?
Oh, that could be a penalty there as well. The referee hasn't given it.
Fulton saved again by Manos, so Moreland getting a few attempts on goal in the latter stages of this game with the 10 men. Here's Thomas.
And just coming into the game today, Steve, you know, whilst they've had 7 points out of the last 4 games, which is a great record, you know, coming to Avondale. I'll just hold off there a second.
Here's Chinema playing it out to Liston Diaz, who's going to try his luck at the near post, and well, almost catching out Santo Agwek, but he had his angles covered well.
Corey Thomas goes down here. But just saying, you know, coming into this fixture, you know, away at the league champions, even though they depleted, David Stojic and his coaching staff probably would have looked at it and thought, well, we're probably not going to get anything out of this game. If we do, it'll be a great result. They'll be looking more now towards next week's game, and that 6-pointer against St Albans at the bottom there, which is now going to be a huge game, isn't it?
It's going to be massive. That's that game coming up next Saturday at 3:30, the later time of 3:30 at CB Smith Reserve. A genuine 6-pointer. There's going to be nothing left on the park between those two sides when they head off at about 5:30 next Saturday afternoon. It'll be well and truly dark by 5:30 next Saturday afternoon too. Here's Carpenter. Already got himself one goal this afternoon. Little 1-2. Back to George Ott, who's been playing in that deeper number 10 role in the second half. This is Matt Spall, the boy from Bendigo, surging forward. He's got Akuno to his right. Still he goes, Spall, receiving it back from Akuno, and it's going to be an Avondale throw, much to the disappointment of the Moreland players who'd put in the effort to try and get the ball up the park, seeing it return to the possession of the Avengers. Here's Manos. It's a nice pass to pick out Pisani, who came on the park at half-time for Al Hayek as the left back. He's now shifted across to play as the right back, and young Lucas Hogan playing as the left back now. So all of these youngsters, including Chinema, who's the player on the ball in the long sleeves, getting involved. Header was by Jurcic. Spall, and foul there on the Moreland play, which was Luca Toro. Luca Toro with one goal this season in the Australia Cup competition. Coming on off the bench today to try and offer something different in midfield. Big game for Avondale next week when they take on Hume City here next Saturday afternoon. A bit of a succession of home games. They were home last week, home today, home against Hume City next week, and then the following week again against Manningham United Blues. That Australia Cup game sandwiched in between those two fixtures as Santaro, who's already got his first NPL Victoria goal, and that one was one of those ones that you wouldn't want to see again on replay. Kicked it with a standing foot and then the striking foot putting it into the netting behind the goal. Here's Fulton. Switched from the right to the left-hand side of the park. Sutsides back to Fulton again. He check of the shoulder, and he saw Chinema coming. Plays the 1-2 with Croucher, and Fulton's motoring across the halfway line here. Looking for Spall, but again, Ute Town still full of running, the milestone man. Chinema. Hogan on the far side. Saw him interviewed post his debut last week for the senior team. He's pretty happy with how things went and glad to be back involved for the second week running. Stepping up from the 23s. So 90 minutes have elapsed here at Avenger Park. We got 4 minutes added on.
Yeah, just waiting to see the ball from the far side there. Unless he's put it up and we haven't seen it, Steve.
Carpenter went down. We heard the cries for a foul, but Terry Constandelis waves play on. Nice back heel by Thomas. Switch to the play by Toro. And now Fulton. He's got Croucher. Galloping down the left-hand side. Can Moreland conjure up a goal-scoring opportunity here through Fulton? Looking for movement ahead. He hasn't got a lot of options. Akuno. Fulton. Can he supply the cross, or he's going to try and take on Hogan? Tries his luck himself, Fulton. And scores a sensational goal. Against the run of play, Moreland are on the scoreboard at long last in stoppage time in the second half. And it's their Tasmanian getting themselves on the board. 5-1 here at Avenger Park. And still a lopsided scoreline, but at least Moreland can put something from this game that they can put a smile on their face in some way.
Look, that was all Fletcher Fulton there from the moment they received the ball from the back. He got on the ball, he played it out wide, he got it back again, played a little 1-2 because there was no options in the width, and decided to have a go with his left peg and curled it into the top corner. Great goal for the young Tasmanian. Just the crowd below us, Steve just shouting for 5 more. Obviously the alcohol's well and truly settled in now.
The barman behind us was certainly busy at half-time when we were down in that part of the venue. Here's Spall, so just 4 more required for Moreland. For the 10 men of Moreland. As you said, Fulton, he played the 1-2. I think he played about 4 1-2s in a row there with different teammates.
His goal there, 100%.
You said it was all Fletcher Fulton. Was probably putting it spot on there. So 5-1 here at Avenger Park. It's been a second half goal fest. 1-0 at half time. We've seen 5 second half goals shared between these two sides. All of the second half goals coming after the 59th minute sending off of Diego Cuba after a handball in the penalty area and a Ute Town spot kick on 60 minutes. It's going to be a happy milestone game for Ute Towns. Jurcic, he's been excellent this afternoon. His clearance is only as far as the New Zealander George Ott, who got the ball rolling in the first half with the first goal of the afternoon on 30 minutes. As we wait Terry Constandelos to give us the final whistle of the afternoon. It is full time at Avenger Park. A 5-1 win for Avondale, the injury-ravaged side who came into the game with 8 senior players out of the action, and then they went on to lose George Mells and Adam Alhayek this afternoon, but it didn't matter because they were too good for a 10-man Moreland City who had to suffer the sending off of Diego Cuba, but an entertaining match nonetheless, but it was certainly a lot of one-way traffic in the second half, Craig. Yeah, look, it was an unfortunate incident. It was a good game up until that 59th minute. It's spoilt as a spectacle in the end, obviously sending off a penalty, 2-0, and then it was back to the walls for Moreland City, and a couple of great goals in there as well. But look, Moreland will be really disappointed, but they shouldn't be after I said it took them 59 minutes to break them down and get that second goal. But good performance from Avondale. They'll be glad there's no more injuries, that's for sure, and they go into obviously midweek cup game against Oakley Cannons, hoping that they can keep everybody on the park. They'll certainly want to keep their players in cotton wool, I think, this week, Craig, with that cup game coming up the following week. And as the Avengers team song comes into play, it's the favourite song of cameraman Bernard here, of course. And thank you for your work this afternoon, mate. Just going over the goal scorers again, it was George Ott, the New Zealander, the big Otto, getting on the score sheet on 30 minutes with a nice individual effort. And then the sending off on 59 minutes for Diego Cuba, which saw Ute Towns go to the spot and score off the post in his milestone game number 169 for the club, where he became the game's record holder. And then there was a couple of first-time goal scorers for the Avondale senior team in NPL Victoria, Alessio Santoro and Seb Vargas on 64 and 77 minutes respectively. It was Blake Carpenter winning the penalty kick and dusting himself off to score on 83 with a very convincing spot kick. Fletcher Fulton with an impressive solo goal, dinking it over Tom Manos from the edge of the area on his left peg to add some respectability to the scoreline for Moreland City. But at full time, it is a 5-1 scoreline in the favour of Avondale, who will welcome that extra +4 to their goal difference. And it's been good to work with you again this afternoon, Craig Filer.
Thank you, Steve. Great job as usual.
My pleasure, and we hope you enjoy this one at home. And of course, you can flick over to the next encounter, which is Port Melbourne and Hume City. That one getting underway in 3 minutes. Also coming up after that game, Dandenong Thunder and the Altona Magic. Always a spicy game, that one at 7 o'clock. Tomorrow it's St Albans and Melbourne Knights over at Churchill Reserve at 3. Monday at 3 it is the Oakley Cannons and Dandenong City. And of course Avondale will actually jump over the Oakley Cannons temporarily on the table, and Oakley will need to get the point there to jump back into that position that they were at the start of the round. So looking forward to seeing what happens the rest of the weekend in NPL Victoria. But from Avenger Park, big thanks to you, Craig Filer. Big thanks to you, Bernard, behind the camera as well. We hope you've enjoyed it at home. And we wish you a good weekend in football. Until next time, from Avondale, Steve Curtin and Craig Filer signing off. It is 5-1 to the Avengers. Good evening.